feeling low.
Hey there, Lemonheads, and welcome back to the Lemonade Stand, or welcome if you are new. My name is Brianna. I'm a certified personal trainer, a big, huge biology nerd, and a registered dietitian to be. We are gathered here today for episode 14 of my fun and lighthearted series in which I react to fitness influencer workouts. We laugh, we cry, sometimes we learn, but mostly we laugh. Before we proceed, if you love science-based health, wellness, and fitness education with some lulz and lots of dry sarcasm on the way, why not hit that subscribe button and join the Lemonade Stand? I would just really appreciate it. Without anything further, let's make some lemonade. I think it's been a while since the last episode of this series, so this is just a reminder. I'm a certified personal trainer. I have been for a few years now, but I by no means consider myself a fitness expert. Although maybe by influencer standards, I am an expert. I don't know. I'm not. I don't like the word expert. I feel like the word expert carries more responsibility than I'm ready for. I'm always a student, I'm always learning, and I'm always growing. But I do know what I do know. And if I see a teaching moment in this series, then I take a moment to teach. And if I see a laughing moment in this series, well, then you get it. I would say we laugh more often than not in this series. All right, so first one. Wait a minute, he didn't even press the weight in his hands, did he? Hold on, let me backtrack really quick. No, he just picked it up, held it for a few seconds, and then put it back down, and then he started pressing the, leg pressing the barbell on his foot. Okay, so this is a teaching moment. Do not do this. Thank you, management. So I haven't looked into this, but I think this person is a gymnast or, I don't know, maybe a contortionist or something. I'm pretty sure I've seen her before in this series. She's always sharing herself doing the most just off-the-wall stuff that requires insane flexibility, which is very impressive, don't get me wrong. That's why I'm saying I think she's a gymnast or a contortionist, because she's obviously extremely flexible. So if her goal is to post stuff for shock and awe, then mission accomplished, girl. I would have made a different life choice. All right, so let's go ahead and get to the reason you guys probably clicked on this video. Our friend, Autumn Calabrese. And I do use the term friend loosely. A bunch of people sent me this post, including my friend, Jen Baruso. Jen and I had a good laugh and back and forth, about this post. For those of you who don't know, Autumn Calabrese is, personally, I consider her textbook fitness influencer. She calls herself a fitness and nutrition expert while saying the most just patently false, incorrect information about fitness and nutrition. For example, she still thinks that knees have to stay behind toes when you squat, and she thinks that coffee is, because coffee is an acidic beverage, it causes your body to then become acidic. All things which are complete fallacies, which have been debunked and are easy to debunk and are easy to look up, but she still calls herself a fitness expert. She's written a few books. She's like the face of Beachbody, or Body, yada, yada, yada. So here, let's watch the thing.
Here are 5 moves that are better than the squat for growing those glutes.
I just have to say it's a really cute, bodysuit thing that she's wearing. You guys can't hear this music because I'm assuming it's copyrighted. I'm gonna have to play my own royalty-free track over it. But the music that is over this video right now almost sounds like clunky, awkward, porno music. right, so let's read the caption that she put under this post. Some say the squat is the best move for growing the glutes. I've got 5 that I like better to target the glutes and help them grow. None of those were glute isolation exercises, except for the hip thrust, but they were some of the worst hip thrusts I've ever seen, and we will talk about it. 1, crossover step up. Go slow on the lowering to keep more time under tension. 2, deadlifts. Lifting the weight from a dead position is going to set your glutes on fire. Keep the core engaged to protect your back. Good advice for deadlifting. Hip thrusters. You can perform this move on the floor, but I like bench for better range of motion. 4, tap back. The key to this move is pressing into the ball of the back foot and keeping the back leg straight. That way you keep the work and tension on the front leg. And my final favorite to work the glutes, hamstrings, and quadriceps, 5, press-ups. Start with lighter weights for this move to focus on building strength in proper form. Keep a small tilt forward to take the work into the posterior chain. Okay, so I have something to say about most of the exercises that she showed here. The first one was step-ups. I love step-ups. I think they're a fantastic lower body exercise. They're great compound movement, and they can be a really great exercise to emphasize the glutes too, depending on how you do them. The higher the step, the more emphasis you'll put on the glutes. If your step is really low and there's less hip flexion, then when you step up, you will feel this much less in your glutes. When you raise the height of that step and increase hip flexion, when you perform the step up, you will feel it in your glutes a lot more. Now, the higher the step, the more challenging the movement will be. So only attempt a higher step up if you can manage it. That's my personal advice. But if you want to try a higher step, then I recommend while you're doing it, just grab onto something sturdy while you do them. Like if I'm doing higher step ups, I'll push the step up against a wall. So that way I have a wall in front of me to kind of put my hand on for some support. Or maybe you can put it next to, I don't know, maybe the squat rack or something that's sturdy like a squat rack. And then while you're stepping up and down, you can kind of have the squat rack. You can grab it in your hand. And then I want to skip down to the hip thrusters. I mean, she calls them hip thrusters. I call them hip thrusts. I've never heard anyone call them hip thrusters. Personally, absolutely love hip thrusts. I am all about the thrusts. Now, this version that she is doing is especially great if you want to wake up the next morning with a kick in your neck and lower back pain. And also, FYI, if you do them on the floor, then they're called bridges. They're not thrusts. And hip bridges are also great for glutes and the overall core in general, but she's not wrong in saying that hip thrusts offer a better range of motion. That's true. The last one she did was press ups. So I don't know what this version of press up is. The press up that I'm familiar with is not this. The press ups that I'm familiar with are a variation of push up, which is obviously an upper body exercise. So I don't know. I would personally call what she's doing like a version of an isometric lunge or a static lunge. That's what I would call it. I don't know if you're a fitness professional, if you've been in the industry for a while, I don't know. What would you call these press ups? I didn't think that these were press ups. And I also Googled it too to make sure I'm not an idiot. When you go to Google and type in press ups, only variations of push ups come up. So yeah. So she's in the lunge position and she's actually pressing up. I guess she's kind of pressing up through the front and the back leg. The way she's doing this is actually more quad dominant than it is glutes. Another good way to tickle your glutes a little bit more with this particular exercise is elevate the front foot. Like if you have a step box, just put your front foot on a box, the step box. It's just a couple inches of elevation, and then do your static lunges, like press up and lower down. Your butt will thank you. So in my opinion, this post is dumb. The only one of these that I agree with being better than the glutes, being better than the squat for glutes, is the hip thrusts. And she's also, once again, not even doing them with good form at all. Reminder, Autumn Calabrese calls herself a fitness expert. Self-proclaimed. So in preparation for this video, I meant to film myself doing hip thrusts in the gym so I could insert it in the video, but I forgot. So I'll insert a couple clips of people doing hip thrusts correctly. One of the main things that I just want to call attention to right now is the movement of the head and neck. Do not just let your head flop back and then stay that way while you're thrusting the way Autumn was doing it. Keep your eyes and head forward at all times so that at the top of the motion you're looking up, and then when you're back at the starting position your head is facing forward. If these are the only options that she's putting out as better than squats for the glutes, then I personally would say no, they're not. Among all these, again aside from the hip thrust, I actually think squats are better than all these for glutes. Some of my personal favorite glute isolation exercises are hip thrusts, glute kickbacks, hip abduction machine, which more emphasizes like the side. I always do this when I'm talking about like the side glutes. This is me drawing like the bottom half of somebody with an hourglass figure. It emphasizes more like the side glutes. It's your glute medius. You'd feel it a lot like in your hips when you're doing them. You can do them with machine. I have a machine at my gym. I feel like most gyms have a hip abduction machine, but if you don't have one, you can do them with a resistance band as well. Those were, like I said, isolation exercises. And some of my favorite compound exercises, which encompass the glutes, are sumo squats and the squat press machine. I really like those for the butt. Okay, so I spent more time talking about this one than I did the others, but I want to mention one last thing before we move on. I read one comment that really stuck out to me, and I want to talk about it. And I want you guys to talk about it too. Tell me what you think. Somebody said, why are we always making a big deal about over 40 training as if we need to do something different than people under 40? The only difference with my workout is compared to this, I lift twice the amount of weight, and guess what? 52. Somebody responded and said, seriously, I lift and train harder than most under 40. Also, I only do these to warm up my glutes for squats, deadlift, and heavy hip thrusts. There's nothing magic about turning 30, 40, and beyond. Clapping emoji. Okay. This makes a really good point that I brought up before in past videos about, like, this is just an example, like gendered workouts. And by that, I mean, like, maybe you'll go open up Pinterest and Pinterest will have a pin that's like women's upper body workout. And then it'll be like bicep curls, tricep push downs, and push-ups. And then I see that and I'm just like, I'm sorry, is there any reason that a man can't do that same stuff? Like, can men not also do bicep curls? As far as I'm concerned, fitness is for everybody with access. I don't care who you are. Bicep curls are not just for men. I have mentioned that in the past video and somebody got really rude with me. Like, they were mad at me for expressing that opinion that like men and women can do the same exercises, albeit with some, modifications, obviously. But I remember the comments started off with like, spoken as someone who's never been through perimenopause before. And I was like, I feel like it's obvious that I've never been through any stage of menopause. And I basically responded back and said something like, I don't understand why being in menopause means that you can't work out the way you did before you were in menopause. A 50-year-old woman who's in whatever stage of menopause, why can't they do a standard arm workout that a 30-year-old woman can do who's not in any stage of menopause? You know what I'm saying? Obviously there's modifications. There's a good chance they're using different weights, but like, why can't a menopausal woman do a basic arm workout that a non-menopausal woman can do? Does that make sense? After a while, I stopped responding to their comments because I got bored. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they went on to say to me. If I start going back and forth with people in my comment section, after a certain point, I stop responding because it's just like, I just get bored and it's useless. But anyway, I need you, I don't know, can you guys like tell me if I'm off base or not with this? I'm open to having a discussion. If like you disagree with me, please, by all means, tell me. Obviously, a 20-year-old who's never touched a single weight before in their life is going to train differently than a 40-year-old who's been weight training for 20 years. But they can still both engage in the same type of workout. But the 40-year-old might be able to bicep curl 15 or 20 pounds versus the 20-year-old who's never lifted a weight in her life might only be able to do 5 or 10 pound curls, but they can both do bicep curls. I'm 31 years old and I've been weight training since I was about 18 or 19 years old. And I am a whole hell of a lot stronger now than I was when I was 19 years old, when I first started weight training. I also train more intensely now than I did when I was younger. I don't know. I just don't like the narrative that like, as soon as a woman turns 40, she's like this delicate little flower and you have to train differently just because you're now in a new decade of life. We can start a discussion about it. Like, you guys tell me how you feel about that. Also, I feel like I have to say, it's obvious if you're 50 years old and you've never exercised a day in your life, then you're going to train differently. And you decide you want to start exercising. First off, good for you. It's never too late. But you're obviously going to train differently than a 50-year-old who's been lifting weights since they were 30. And also, obviously, injuries and, higher risk things that come as you get older, because that's just, part of being a human. But I'm asking what you guys think, like, about the overarching theme here of what I'm saying. Does a 40-year-old with a fitness background need to train drastically different than a 39-year-old with the same fitness background? Let me know. All right, next one. Oh, trigger warning for minor injury, FYI. There's more. What the hell was he trying to do? I don't understand what he was doing. Like, if you're trying to do assisted pull-ups, he could have just used those bands. Like, I like to do an assisted pull-up with my power bands sometimes. Like, if he was just trying to do like some type of assisted pull-up, there was 2 bands right there that he was like, that were available for him to use. I don't know, man. I don't know. I like assisted pull-ups with a power band, and I guess technically this guy does too. He's just more extreme than I am. What is he training for? Making babies?
Doing what it does best.
Oh my god. Text on that one says CrossFit doing what it does best. What the heck was that guy even doing? The second guy that threw the bar. I can't tell if he intentionally threw it or if it was accidental. It looked very intentional. I don't know. You guys will have to let me know, but to me that looked intentional. Poor CrossFit. Getting bullied all the time. CrossFit is like the weird kid at school that none of the other kids want to sit with. I've never coached power lifts or Olympic lifts. It is not uncommon for me to get them mixed up. I'm going to be completely transparent. I'm a boring gym weightlifter. I don't know what that other guy was doing. The guy that kind of walked in from being off camera. And I can't tell. Oh, I'm just realizing this. I think was he behind that guy? Oh, wow, I've already watched this before when it was sent to me. I'm just now realizing, I think he was walking up behind that guy. What the hell was he doing? I don't know. I'm looking at this on my iPad and I'm like slowly replaying it over and over again. I cannot tell if what that guy did was intentional or unintentional. And the girl in the back that's like on her knee, if you look at her face, she's like, oh my God. She looks like she's saying, what are you doing? He threw the bar over that guy. Why did he do that? That had to have been an accident, but I don't know. Oh man. Yeah, so CrossFit gets a bad rap, and honestly stuff like this is probably why, although this could have been an accident. But yeah, I don't know, it looked very intentional to me. What do you guys think? You guys have to tell me. And, feel free to watch this clip repeatedly on slow motion if you have to. So personally, CrossFit is not my jam. My opinion is, in a world where humans are developing more preventable chronic disease that is linked to the standard American diet and a sedentary lifestyle, if CrossFit gets you excited to get up and move your body, then I say good for you. Go off, do your CrossFit. Kipping pull-ups are stupid. I can't end a video without triggering at least somebody. Go ahead and finish your angry comment. Whenever I've talked crap about kipping pull-ups, there's always people in the comment section who get mad at me for it. So go ahead and finish typing your comment. I gotta go. Me and my husband got something to do. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button. If you want to see more related content, hit the subscribe button. I will see you guys again in about a month for episode 15 of this series. Thanks again for watching. Queen Lemon, over and out. Let's go find a dog. Onyx, what are you doing? Oh my God. These two are always... Oh.